다들이야 아니 다나마 지슈는 신제 그봐 아니 아니 tempa tamchen geme do toba da sunro mari dambar chawada nyeju chimbi yansare sunwada ani gyawe gomba dela do toba la soba de ge da keju yede ba onda de ge ji chanjul lam yirin ba da di de da chue pu sun so ba azu de azu chenye ru chi yares da de ni nyusane teleyang thongmar da tempa thamjing game do ba se jusan ta tanang ma shubre teleya ne ji labrim chi jun na zo ne ji tempa thamjing game do ba la so be ene kyeju chimbo shi ene jongdi gi yare da tempa thamjing game do ba sa game 다 계제도 가라잖아. 지당다 템바사들이야. 템베 밤주에는 미들 롱다 도베 등이도. 소문나시. 아니 롱도가 템바니스 도요아래 템바사한테. 대야다 롱기 템바. 예. 데는 숨다 유디실라 소베. 아니 롱기 템바. 나 아니 치심 미균바다. 지 핀주 측신 미디움 세두산에 에너지 도스 지 가셔에 동아게 도스 가셔에다 숑디 주나로래야 준비지 측신 돈에 만다마다 요리 요래 다나시지 엔직티브 지중긴 도성마로 나준 다 디주난 준비지 미다미다 요리 요래 ane tobe temba pena je domba khongo ge labje nanga minjawa je domba omala manawa de je khomala na sha be soro ta de ge ji nanga minjawa gare yebres yina ya da samje gombe nenga she tungge 공법에 련통계 오늘 전에 이제 야외가에 공법 련통계를 충분히 이미나 아니 전주 탑재가 탑수 민도가 찍어야 말이지 당아주지기 뉘에 나눠려야지 안다지 양지 신은 거의 말한게야 뭐 거기서 미신다 신인데 그래서 아 등에를 봐 나 링에 마셔 좀 공부 주셔봐 공부에 련셔버서 충분히 있나 안에 전주 둘째게 탑수 미루어 지게 해요 말았어 근데 이 배인상 안에 전주 남계를 분들이 앞에 고와 타르친 거지 차투부 이미나 안에 상계 좀 된데 얘가 노규 안에 대 공부 제வர் 제배 댄슈 포유 개배 짬바다 아니 벽이 개배 짬바 단 도나 탐제라리아 아니 네 구구민도 네 노샤 제제 아니 배 돌레 재미가 봐 가사지 창계배 탑리아 다들 상문 당화들 상문로 가사지 창계배 탑다 다 대양배 정의 창계배 체도 고네 다든지 거기서 가셔야지 팬토도 알수 연구 안 했어 다대야 냠소 렌시나 냠소 랑뉴나 냠소 말랑 때 고고 말했어 냠소 말랑 발지 들어가지 가셔야지 야 가시 개바 가셔야지 야 아주 이제 더 받는 용도와 이제 개바 야 개바지 되는 믿으면 측을 때문에 개발 리송기 양배 이제 대세지 답이 운주산에 동아가 공부 가가 제샤 배 안다나신 지 배 가지고 좀 차선 비비네야 야지 추규 되게 상월로지 소소소에게 엔 마시네 지 추에 채와데 주요가 임자 아 소소지 땜바 다신 게 봐요 당에 뺄래야 지전에 탑을 교차지 지 뺄래야 매매서지 먹으면서 차로도 돼 이미는 다 지전에 뺄래야 샤네 만디스게 아이나 소소지 지전에 먹이 버르지도 가르스는 빼나다 디자인에 잘라로 좀 이미나 얘는 그 배열이지 캡자를 당세 단들 캐주인데 아니면 신다를 매매 캐주인데 배열인데 현재 농부하고 야고도와 대기업이네 미즈 그 개별의 통제네 영화 연구로 봐다 뒤에 최르지 제세 간다 최디 배열 통비 치도 아니 최디 채와 주시 다들 배열 통비 대야지 오늘은 가사디 남주기람 통비 채도 저기 와래 근데 채도 차와 근데 지금 채도 안다 최기 채와 주요 용주산에 가사들의 편도 차도 가사들이야 남주 주베 특수로 야래 다 근데 뭐야 참상 아주 나르게 기부 담반나 버스 착시에 듣는 착시 냠내 규버디 다만 아주 마음 무두지 강윤주산에 나라지 준비해 뉴제기 유주의 땅다 마대비체 다 이메 그 추억의 재활은 지금 모두지 줘야 될 뉴스안에 다지 이 가면서지 그냥 직대미 상로 단체 추억 예마보디 그 직대미 상로를 쿠제 때 년연 뉴스안다 아주도 시보지 인반라베 가르쳐야지 군례 타봐 정말에 군례 차와 이 군례 개발도 봐봐 다 대야 이제 개발도 봐봐 이번 잠시는 내야스게 아마도 이제 시간에 개수차 신다도 개말에 당 아주들 마도 신다도 개말에 돼 사마로부터 이제 개수차 나들이 안 용디도 와 데레야 비즈로산 최경이 아주 차생기 중재난 이제 용디 야를 치치 다들 납사지 사상 로에 도면 저 염용적이 되는 가 되는 공부지도 교사셔래 사기 근이나 소바들이 상물로 에너지 개발 염용제 오늘전에 최규토리아 개통계 현재 개발될 수 대비미나 에네 상물로 이제 공부지도 보고도 에는 디지 그 유전도 수주야 다 아는 디안베 추규신다라고 제제 파 노래가 민도스 드린 주산에 단 도나 템바스 주산에 곰바타 에너지 줄라간다 다나시지 군자다 수르 보디디주 템바원에라 디척이 오마네 템바원에디 다 롱다 도베데마 다 롱다 도베 템바 디다 탐지에게 되는데 에는 가사지 상계에 차견도 에는 고도지 대한변하지 상계에 딘주 위에 손샤바데 다매 손샤베기 스신 민게와 전에 여바든데 말했어 지금 민게 룩데 간데지레스 라비미나 딘주 위에서 손샤바데 딘주 메에서 샤바데 매 손샤바데 니 스신 민게와 거와 딘데라 말했어 야 지금 측이 차네들에 된기 차네야 딘두다 데메니 민게와 거에서로 딘데야 말했어 다 뉴제 규미마미 왕게 대다로 송바 임바데 아니 상계 탐지게 바 임바 주제도 고고 그래 송바 그냥 아주 지금 장대된 예령기 남사 망부지 여러봐 남사 망부지에 인두산 된데게 지금 장애기 이야와디서 시윤주산에 어다 뉴제 딘데질이야 고네 아니 상계기 춘디다 송샤바레도 와서므로 베나지 상계기 다 여바지 송여비나 다딩에래야 상계 다여 송도 샤자디 바지 다여서 사마로 딘데면 비체는 에래야 상계기 누샤 간제질이야 아니 다여 송도와 아니 에래야 가수디 제 죄서로디 누샤 최 강了 송유기 아니 누샤 강了 되는 송도가 되지 삼당과에 제도와 단 누제 개발할 때는 아니 상계 최 송거마다 상계 고랑기 아니 고랑기 지 따와다 고랑기 지 선주디 개샤제제 최 송마와 상계기 아니 선쟁기 매바다 칸다 왕보다 뛰네 최 송거와 근데 인도산에 아니 상계디 안
self, and there's no self, and then so then there's a lot of disputes. So this is so when we in this path, in this the lamp for the path to enlightenment. So he gives the whole range of the teachings from refuge till the kind of final enlightened state of unity. So then he's taught this for this kind of people and that for this kind of different grades. So because of that, then you would understand the whole teaching of Buddha, and there is no contradiction.
Namo Bhagavate
Samvelo Gata Gataya Gataya Radhe Samya Sambuddhasa Om Kave Kave Mahakave Kave
Shodhane Swaha Zelen Gyalbo Sajong Lama Le Changju Semje Duze Mela Drowa Kunla Pembar Zebahi Pale Ati Shala
This was offering to Atisha Dipankara. Rasa.
야
And in the same way, sometimes it is said when you talk about that all the teachings do not have a contradiction. All the teachings are taught by Buddha. We don't know everything must be good, so we do not have any kind of any understanding, or we do not, kind of understand fully. That's also not good. That's not the way. We have to understand fully what this is for, how this is said like this, and all these things. The more we understand and clearly, then it is good. It's not just with faith and with not just kind of believing that everything must be good because it's taught by Buddha. So we need to understand. It's very important to understand how all these come together, and what are the meaning of all this, and really deeply understand. Then we understand this very clearly. Then the second specialty of this teaching is that all the treatises, all the teachings are instructions. All the teachings or all the great kind of treatises are instructions for us to understand that. So once somebody asks, what is Kadampa? Why you call it Kadampa? The teachings. So he said that every teaching that the Buddha gave, without kind of missing one syllable, all of them are instructions for somebody to become enlightened. So when we understand that, then it was very inspiring for that person. So everything, all the teachings, all different kinds of teachings of Buddha are seen as an instruction for self, for oneself, for anybody. That's why it's called Kadampa. Ka means the teaching, Dam is like instruction. So Lamrim, if you really understand Lamrim or Lamdön, that is the lamp for the path to enlightenment, then you understand that the sutras, tantras, three Titapas and four tantras, all these, even you don't want to leave out one word, you know that each word in all these sutras and tantras are useful, are good, are instructions. Geshe Tenpa of Kadampa said, maybe it's Kadampa Tenpa. And this Lamdön is a teaching that one person can practice in one day or in every day. It's something that it's a kind of the main path, or all the branches of the path for one person. It gives all the teachings, the main teachings, always the branch teachings, everything is included in this. So therefore it is something, it includes something, all the instructions, all the methods for one person to become enlightened. All the teachings are for one person to become enlightened, but it is also very easy to understand. So it's like if we talk, then not just saying the words, but also you kind of make body language, you kind of use your hands, you use your experience, and also you kind of stand up and do things. And then if you have some photos to show or some videos to show, then it helps to understand clearly. Before in Tibet, the videos and television, all these things were not there. So there was only. So when you, like in Tibet, if you want to talk about America, so each person gets a kind of an image of what America would be, but they don't know. They cannot see what America is like. But now we have photos, the videos, and all these things. Then somebody even in Tibet who has never been to America can also understand more of what the America looks like. So in the same way, according to some Kadampa, it says, first you talk about precious human life, and then you kind of teach it, you practice it, till you fully realize and fully experience the precious human life. And until then, you don't go to the next stage. And then if you don't get past it throughout your life, you just practice that whole life, and then at the time of death, then you say, may I be able to practice the next stage. But some other lamas say that it is not like that. You should not go that kind of, you should teach more. But for some people, the precious human life may not get so much understanding or experience. But if you talk about the impermanence, that will give more, understanding of precious human life also. So therefore, it helps each other. Therefore, so it's necessary to use many methods, many different methods. It's not good that you only use one method or one way. So both are useful, both are good. Sometimes we change too many times, we go to one lama and then, it doesn't help, and then you just give it up and then go to, it's like the things that is kind of finished the date. Then first I was practicing Shenrezik, and now what should I practice? As if this Shenrezik's practice kind of time has expired. Now I must practice Tara, something like that. First you practice practice kind of simple teachings, and then you want to do more complicated with many heads and things like that. First you practice something peaceful, and then you have to practice kind of wrathful. Some people think like that, but that's not the way. I don't know that's whether it's the right way or not. What I'm really saying is this. All the teachings that the Buddha gave, it's all are, there is nothing which doesn't help in one person becoming enlightened. Why he has to teach so many different teachings is because, it helps. If this method doesn't help, then the other method helps. So therefore, many different. Like a good doctor wants to kind of treat a patient. The different doctors have a different ways of kind of treating, different medicines, different kind of diets and things like that. We'll recommend.
가셔요. 스승 통하는 미려 여기 이네야. 되려야 아니 뭐 가셔야 다지. 허리부들이야. 지 초진이랑 가셔야지 매지 편 도모도네 지 매담도 세지 편 토도야 내용도 와.
Sometimes, this medicine doesn't work, but then you have to try another medicine, and that might work. So, we have to try many different, a good doctor will try different medicines and different methods to cure that person, because the main purpose is to cure that person's disease. So, with that kind of a similar attitude, all the teachings of the Buddha are good, are useful. There are different ways, different methods, and if one doesn't work, then another works, or one doesn't work now, then others work. So it's very important to think properly. If you don't concentrate, if you don't think, if you don't kind of really reflect, then even if you go through all the teachings of the Buddha, you will not get one good instruction. Then you will try to find another kind of roll of paper or something that is, like treasure finding or something. You will find you don't find the teachings, that the instruction even in the whole of the Kanjurin Tenjo. So therefore, there are lots of things in Tibet. In teaching, you will find in Tibet like termas, these treasure findings, and scroll of instructions and things like that. But all of them actually are from the Buddha's teachings, and there is nothing which is not included in the teachings of the Buddha. But of course, one instruction may be more useful to you than others, but actually all the teachings are equally beneficial to the teachings. And some people, and some said that in Kaju, for instance, now some Shedas are becoming more, kind of advanced. So the teaching and learning, the study practices are becoming a little bit more strong. So then some say, Kaju is Dujupa, Kaju is practice lineage, we should not study. So they also they also kind of quote. That's a Kaju Tsepame, but not Kajus have no dispute, no debate, and things like that. But this is not right. All the teachings of the Buddha are practice for the practice. There is no study of Buddhism which does not help to practice. So studying is also for the practice. Generally, all the five great treatises, like this Vinaya, is about the how to act according to the Vinaya, and the Parshin gives the understanding of six paramitas. The Uma gives about the view about the emptiness, and the like Buddhist logic gives what is the real how to understand the Four Noble Truths, and the really understand what is enlightenment. So really depth of the refuge, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So therefore, and Abhidhamma is the essence of the Dhamma, what is the nature of things. So all these things, even the study texts, treatises, are on how to practice. So there's nothing which is not for practice. So all the teachings of the Buddha are for the practice and are useful and very important to understand. So it is very necessary and very good to study. So, but if you don't practice, if you just kind of look at them, or if you just don't understand, and if you don't study, and if you don't use them on ourselves, then it's another matter. Maybe Jalwa Gutsangpa or somebody said this, said something like this. Maybe it was Gutsangpa. He said this. Maybe I don't remember all the words, but we Gomchenpas, we meditators, we have to be respectful to all those things, studies. So those who kind of blacksmiths, who kind of, yes. So we should pray that may I be able to, use this kind of hammer or these instruments and be able to help other beings. So even we meditators should pray like that and to think like that. And the Karmapa, and the 13th Karmapa also said that some people criticize us, saying that we kind of meditators do not know anything other than meditate. So therefore, I kind of wrote this various texts, like all different kind. He wrote many books about the art, about the logic, about the Ndolwa, about Kenjuk and all these things, Damsum, the three treatises, and many others. He wrote on all the 10 sections of the inner science, and the Rangjung Dorje, the 3rd Karmapa, Samonangden, and the commentary of He Vajra, and the Nimbotemba, and all these things. There are many texts, so you must study. He said you must study. And then the Julama, which is written by or taught by Maitreya Buddha. So the Gampopa said that this is the basis of the Mahamudra. So therefore, this is something which is important for the Kajupas to understand and study and practice. So when that is, that is some like great masters, the great meditator masters also said these things. So those who are meditators, or just meditators, also have to practice, have to try to study, and if you can't have the time and the facilities to study, should also pray that that I may be able to understand all these things in the future, and then that I would like to use them. So therefore, all the teachings are practice. So if you don't understand how to practice, then even if you have a big kind of volume of Mahamudra and Dzogpa Chenpo, it wouldn't help. Even if you get all the empowerments, it wouldn't help. Even the Vajradhara comes himself and gives us some teachings, it would not help. So if you don't practice and if you don't know how to practice, then it wouldn't help. So first we have to know how to practice, and then second we have to practice. So if these two things come together, then we are holding the Buddha's Dharma, preserving the Buddha's Dharma. So that's the third point. So then the next is that because you understand the teaching of the Buddha in an easy way. This is one positive quality of this text, that you understand the Buddha's teachings without too much difficulties. So what is the main kind of Buddha's understanding or Buddha's experience? From the starting point till you become enlightened. So all these things you understand. So you also understand from the beginner's time till you attend the the no more learning stage. You understand all. So these are the Buddha's teachings. The teachings, given in the sutras and the tantras are sometimes, secret, sometimes, not clear, sometimes too elaborate, so you don't understand very easily. But here, it's taught very clearly, very precisely, and very, in a compact and kind of comprehensive way. Therefore, you know where you are, and then you can practice accordingly. Whether you are, in the kind of small-minded or middle-minded or a very kind of big capacity, accordingly you can practice. Thereafter, so the fourth thing is that this study of this practice will get rid of all the negative actions automatically. And nyeshu means like negative activity means like things that you should not do. So the worst negative deed is that giving up the Dharma. That will be automatically eliminated. Why it is so? So let us understand what is the giving up of the Dharma. I have not studied very widely, and I'm not a great. I'm just like the first of the egg. But the teachings of the Dharma, the main reason why the Dharma is kind of degenerating is because the people, the followers of the Buddha have disharmony among themselves. The Buddha's, Kasyapa's teachings kind of finished because of laziness. But Buddha Sakyamuni's teachings will be, it is predicted, will be finished because of disharmony or dispute among the students or followers. That's what is said. Like the example given is the dead body of a tiger, a lion. How does the kind of dead body of a lion come to an end? Even if the lion is dead, other animals cannot eat it because they are afraid, because it's the lion. But then the insects go inside his body and then destroy it. So in the same way, the Buddha Dharma is destroyed from within by the discord. So giving up Dharma is to somebody who is not holy, then you think that they are holy, and that's also giving up Dharma. But somebody who is holy and you say is not holy, or who is positive and is not positive, that's also giving up Dharma. And there's a story I will not like tell, and this is about Gelong Soayangda and Gelong Chuji Chewa, these two bhikshus. There's a story. Many centuries, many kalpas before, the Buddha Sakyamuni became like Gelong Chuji, and then the Amitabha became the Gelong Soayangda. Gelong Soayangda was teaching as according to the need of the people, and the Gelong Chu was always teaching about the emptiness. And the Soayangda was knowing how to teach as according to the need of the people. So he had lots of students. The Gelong Chu was teaching about emptiness. There were one or two who kind of understood and who become good practitioners, but then most of the people didn't understand, so he didn't have much followers. So then Gelong Chu became a little bit jealous of the other one, Gelong Soayangda, and then he said that this Gelong Soayangda is teaching different things to different people. He's not Soayangda. He's kind of a wrong livelihood, Gelong. So he, because he criticized him, he kind of wrongly criticized him. So therefore he went into the helldom for a long time, and even after he became a human being, he also had lots of problems. So even after he became enlightened, so the Gelong Soayangda, when he became enlightened, he had this Buddha field of Dewachen, but the Gelong Chu, when he became enlightened also, he had to be in this impure kind of world. He had to teach in this impure world like in India. So therefore it is said that this chuto, these lips will send you to the hell. So you have to lock these lips, and then give these keys to somebody else. And only if you really have something meaningful to say, then you open that and then say it. So therefore we have to be very careful what we talk and what we say. So when we talk, what is the if we say kind of rough or harsh words, then it must come from a negative emotion. So therefore we have to be really careful. So to talk about the negative things about other schools, other religions, it's very bad. It's very dangerous. It's very bad for ourselves. During after Buddha's time also, the Sangha first split into 4 and then into 18. So many different kinds of divisions. So at the end, then the Jabutitis, the king Titis, there is a sutra called King Titis' Dream, and there it was that it was dreamt that the 18 people were kind of trying to fight on to find on a kind of piece of cloth, and then each one afterwards got a full roll of cloth. So therefore it is said that in the future there will be 18 sections or 18 schools, but they are all useful, they are all good. So one of these, the disputes are that my teaching is the good one and yours is not the right one, and then others said that yours is the bad one and mine is the good one. So in the same way can happen. And sometimes it's kind of useful to kind of to debate, to kind of something that is being kind of degenerated or is kind of needs to preservation. Then you kind of talk about it. You talk special qualities of that, and then you debate. And these are also useful, but so according to the need of the time and need of the people, then lots of kind of different teachings and different treatises were made. But that if we understand it wrongly and they say that this is ours, so therefore it must be good, and this is others, therefore it's not good. So if we take it in that way, then it will become not good, and it will be helping to degenerate the Dharma and to kind of to end the Dharma. So therefore we all have to be very careful in this, because we are all the followers of the same Buddha. And there is also another quotation which I don't have the full. There's about the Naropa's teaching by the. He said that it is okay if my own lineage is finished or destroyed, as long as the true Dharma of Buddha does not kind of finish. A learned person has to be skillful. It's not that somebody who is kind of who cannot. It's a real learned one is somebody who is skillful, who is not just like holding on to your things very strongly and craving or kind of holding on to it. It's not just that. You have to be skillful. You need to learn how to do according to the time and according to need, and be skillful, not just blindly holding on to something. So therefore it's very important to think properly, especially if you are in a big kind of a community and the public and things like that. So it's very good to teach or talk about the whole of the Dharma. And then once Nyingma Lama was asked, this Nyingma Lama was asked, please, it is right, Tenji Mönlam, the flourishing of the Tenpa. And then he said, right, the Nyingma Tenji Mönlam. And he said, no, I don't know the Nyingma and the Kaju, the real Tenpa or the whole Dharma of the Buddha has to remain. And for that, we have to practice the Dharma, he said. So if you give up Dharma like that, then there is no chance to become enlightened or anything like that. So therefore, it's very important not to give up Dharma in this way. So we have all to be very careful that we don't give up Dharma, we don't destroy the Dharma. Then there are many different Dharmas, like the Christians, the Muslims, the Jewish, the Hindus. There are many different religions. According to the population, maybe it's a third or fourth, something like that in the world. It's a big religious group, the Buddhism. Maybe we call it third because three jewels. It's not the highest population, the Buddhism. Yeah. Then there are also different. There is a kind of Vajrayanas, then there is Mahayanas, and then there is the Theravadins. Yeah, three. And then whether there is real respect to each other or not. And then maybe the real Mahayana followers, whether they kind of say Amidobo, but how much real respect they have for like the Vajrayanas and the Theravadas also, I'm happy to see them, but whether they really accept all others as, and then Tibetan Buddhists also kind of look at them as if they are not completely complete or something like that. So this is not good. We don't know whether they are, how good they are, because we haven't studied them. If we are really kind of intelligent, we have really kind of it's a little bit too much proud that we can look at them and decide whether they are true Buddhist teaching or not. These are too proud of the. So therefore, the real cause of destruction of Buddhism is disharmony within. It's not about debating. That's not we are talking about. This debate is not about study of the Dharma through debate. It's not. It's about our aversion and attachment kind of sometimes you say that, I'm very kind of attached to my own religion, my own school, my own lineage, and then by that way you kind of look down on others. That is also in a way contributing ourselves to the destruction of the Dharma. So therefore we should not do this. If you are really a good practitioner of Dharma, we should not do this. Especially now we all meet in Bodh Gaya, the great holy place. So we have to really think properly, deeply, and even if we don't have really good power or good, capacities, at least we should make sure that we are not somebody who is destroying the Dharma in one way or another. So this is very, very important. So this is about giving up the Dharma. Maybe I'll give a quotation. Tingenzi Jalbo. There is the Tingenzi Jalbo Samadhi Raja Sutra. If somebody who destroys all the stupas of the world and somebody who kind of give up the Dhamma, the one who gives up the Dhamma has done much more heinous deed, much more negative deed. It's said like that. I wouldn't say this. I think better not to say this. So these are the qualities of this text, this teaching. these four kind of special qualities is the practice and the study of the lamp for the path to enlightenment. I've talking so much, too much. Now the time is almost gone. Like in the morning, we talked about the great compassion. The main root of bodhicitta is great compassion. And the compassion has to come from looking at yourself, that I am in this samsara, I don't want suffering, I don't want all the problems, and then I have to put that into others. Not other than that, then I can't really feel the sufferings of others. It is said in Bodhicitta Avatara, like it is said that if I didn't even dream or dreamed how I should be, how I, even in my dream, so that I am in this samsara, I have all these sufferings, I am under the power of negative emotions and self-centeredness and ignorance. These things I don't even dream. So how can I practice for the well-being of others? First, I have to think. I have to have dreams. First, I have to have my own dreams. We usually kind of go around with everything is okay. Usually, the more people come to see me, I feel sad because all these people are kind of wants to get something from me. So I feel sad because they rely on me. Then I feel that I must practice really hard from tomorrow. That's how I feel. But next day, I have done pet and it's all gone. I've forgotten. That thing has to be there. Therefore, so it's very important to practice from the beginning. First you have to practice. You have to understand from step by step. So it is said that the compassion is like a mirror, and renunciation and compassion. If you look out, then it becomes compassion. If you look in, it becomes renunciation. Like a mirror with the two sides. Yeah, because in that way, the renunciation and the compassion is same. If you look at others, then it becomes compassion. If you look at yourself, then it becomes renunciation. So to have that kind of a bodhicitta, you must understand the first level of teachings, the preliminaries, this kind of first what we call a small vehicle, that there is suffering in the people. There's, so when you think about the animals, So, we don't have horns on our head, or we don't have fur on the body, but sometimes we look at ourselves, maybe we become like we are like animals sometimes without the horns, or the animal in the form of a human beings. Sometimes we are like that. If you are a real human being, then you have to be a human being. You have to be able to do something that is going to bring well-being for us in the long time. Or so. These days, there are kind of 5-star hotels for the animals, for the pets. And then you have to give lots of, money, many thousands of dollars you have to pay for the, for the pets. So these. This in one way, we are very intelligent, we human beings, but in another way, we are very foolish. We have this very powerful kind of countries and very kind of proud of it, but they have actually been able to make the destructive weapons that could destroy it. And all of them are always afraid that maybe there will be an accident, maybe we have to use them, maybe others will use it on us. So they are always afraid. But then you kind of say that we are powerful, we have nuclear power and things like that. So it's not. So you are yourself more afraid than anybody else. So therefore, I don't know how wise that is. So we have so many nuclear powers, nuclear bombs. Where do we use it? It's for our own destruction. So it seems that we are really not so clever. So this is like a media time or the media era. So we have so many kind of, we can see so many videos and television and all these things. Did we really become wiser? Did we really become more intelligent? What are we doing that we come together to do something really good for the whole world? In one way, we have all the information. In another way, we don't know anything. So it's really strange. What's really good for us or not so good for us, we don't know. So I don't know whether we are really more well-informed and more intelligent. We are not in the negative kind of lower realms, but there's many ways of thinking. We have to think each one of us our own way. And then in the second stage, the middle kind of a path, then you see that even anywhere in the world, anywhere in the samsara, wherever you are, even in the higher realms, it's not the end to the suffering. So when we look at this, what is the suffering? What is the dukkha? It's not just your own yourself freeing from the suffering, but all these beings, other beings, I would like this as I wish to be happy and wish to be free from unhappy. So I need that to extend to all the sentient beings. So each of these different stages of path is helping to get to the next. So by practicing the first level, then it will lead to the next. Then that will lead to the next. So like that. Generally, when we say that Vajrayana is very kind of high and very important and very kind of path, but that has to be based on compassion and bodhicitta. If there is no bodhicitta, there is no Vajrayana. So it's very important. And then to have that bodhicitta, you need to understand the selflessness and shunyata. If without that, you can't get emptiness and you can't get the great true bodhicitta. So therefore, each one is leading to the other. And then the selflessness and the bodhicitta, if these two are not there, then the Vajrayana doesn't work. Vajrayana is not there without these two, because then it's like you have no real engine in a vehicle, So there is no Vajrayana. So that's why it is said that the preliminary is more deep and more profound than the actual practice. That's how it is said. So this is very important to understand. The first level of the small beings and the medium beings, through that you understand the karma, and then you accumulate merit and you purify yourself. And so this accumulation of merit is very important to get true bodhicitta. For that, then you have to practice the refuge and the seventh branch practice. So generally, the small beings, small capacity beings, middling capacity beings, or practices are part of the supreme capacity beings, and this is very important. These three levels, it's very important to know that each one is leading to the other. So therefore, it's all a part of the same thing. So that's why it's without these practices, these kind of lower practices or the beginners practices, then it's very important to generate the bodhicitta and others later on. So therefore, if you don't understand the suffering, then you can't become bodhicitta. So therefore, then maybe we should go to the text. There's this refuge. After that, then aspiration, bodhicitta. Then after 6 paramitas and 4 ways of helping others. And then the actual, action bodhicitta. After that, how to the shamatha practice, how to concentrate your mind on making flexible to put on the positive things or wherever you want it, and then the shamatha becomes because in order to help others, you have to have this, you have to understand the mind of others. So therefore, to do that, you have to have shamatha. You have to have your mind completely stabilized. I had some experiences of this. Many people ask me, what should I do? What should I this? What will happen? Kind of lots of questions. First, what I do, if I don't understand fully what's going on, then I can't. I don't have to say. I have to see the. Then to understand, I have to really understand and talk a lot. But then I cannot talk a lot. I have no time. So therefore, I have to say is I will pray. That's the only way. If you really understood, if you have the if you could understand the people's minds directly, then you would understand it, But so therefore, even if you don't know how to predict the future and how to kind of give predictions and things like that, you at least, if you don't understand the situation fully. The Tibetan way of asking the predictions and the Western people asking is is very different. And the Tibetans say, if I do a business of wool, would it be good or not? They will ask like that. The Westerners ask. I had lots of sufferings when I was young, and then because of that, then I feel almost going crazy. What should I do? So it's all kind of related with the psychological. You can't say that you have to buy this, you have to sell this, and I don't know the medicine. I can't say that you take this medicine. So I have to say something to make his mind a little bit peaceful. But for that, if I don't understand why he is having these problems and what is the main problem, then I cannot say. So therefore, even if we have to get the shine, we have to get. But even if I can't get the complete kind of shamatha, it is important to have a little bit of peace of mind. And in order to have the vipassana, then you have to have shamatha. So it's very important to have shamatha as a basis for vipassana. So to have the foresight, to understand you can foretell things, you have to have good shamatha. Then, in order to be free from the bondage of duality, then you have to really understand deeply the the wisdom of vipassana, the shunyata, understanding, experience. These are the Sutrayana way, and then the Vajrayana way. To enter into the Vajrayana in the Vajrayana, the Lama is very important. So you must know very good how to rely or how to relate with the guru or teacher. And then you have to receive the empowerments and ripen yourself. And after you have ripened yourself, it's not just that I have received the empowerment. So you have to kind of practice the samayas and the precepts of Vajrayana. It's not that, oh, I have received the empowerment, and you cannot just go with your too much proud, but you have to practice humbly. So if you kind of if you don't observe, if you fall down from the samayas of the root samayas of the Vajrayana, then you cannot attain the Vajradhara in this lifetime. Or it's very important not to break those samayas. It is said that there are millions of thousands of samayas, but maybe it's very important to understand the root samayas. So some former lamas are saying that if you go higher in the practice, then the negativity can become bigger and bigger. So if you go higher, then it becomes much more elaborate. Yes, now as we see, what we can see with our 5 organs, that's it. We have to practice according to it. And then if you are bodhisattva with a higher level, then their way of seeing things is much more deeper and much more infinite. They can see much more clearly and much more bigger. They see much more things than we see, so therefore it becomes much wider. That the negative deed also becomes bigger. Is like in the Vinaya, we give up, our body and speech negative things. We give up, or we try to kind of forsake doing negative things. And then in Mahayana, even if you get a little bit of like anger or something like that, that's also a breakage of the vows. And then if you practice the Vajrayana, then it becomes much more minute and much more subtler. So therefore, it's much more difficult. So that's why it is said that the more higher you go, the negativity becomes much more stronger or much more elaborate. There's a story of Drukpa Kunle, the madman of Drukpa. And then somebody came and he says that the Samad Lama is giving an empowerment. You are not going for empowerment? Then he says, I'm not going. Then Drukpa Kunle said, if I receive the empowerment and if you don't have to observe any samaya and it will become enlightened automatically, then I will go. But if it is not like that, then I cannot go. I will not go. And he said that the samaya of all the samaya is that you don't go against the body, speech, and mind of the Lama, and that's very difficult. These days, these days empowerments, the Lamas, they will not give us Vajradhara, but they will not also give us the Vajra hell, because they can't give the right empowerment. So therefore, the result will also, not the positive, negative sides also. So therefore, if you practice well, then there is lots of positive results, a good result. But if you don't do it well, then is also lots of a kind of bad results, negative results, stronger. So the lamrim is that you go slowly and step by step. Like the jewel, who knows the jewel, they kind of cut it and they kind of slowly, make it refined. So in the same way, and those who work on the gold mine, they kind of get the first ores and then slowly refine it and become. So in the same way, you practice. And now we go to the text. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, the main thing is there are five things, 5 sections. First, the refuge, because the second is bodhicitta. So the aspiration bodhicitta and action bodhicitta. The third one, it's about shamatha, to bring the kind of forcing powers, and so that you can help other beings. The third. Then the fourth is the skillful means of wisdom and skillful means together. Through that, to experience and understand the vipassana. And the 5, and that the union of wisdom and compassion, wisdom and skillful means, and then the Mahayana Vajrayana, Vajrayana practice of the Mahayana, or the great vehicle Vajrayana. So in these 5, so first we will go from the beginning. In the language of the India, Bodhipatha, Pradipam. Bodhipatha Pradipam. I can't read Sanskrit well. First, I was speaking Kampa and then become Central Tibetan. So if I try to say it in Kampa, then the Tibetan is Shangchup Lamchi Dharma. Shangchup Semba. Then this homage to the Bodhisattva, the youthful Manjushri. That's homage. As we said before, this treatise, the Sharava said, the great, we are teaching this through the commentary of the Tsurpu Japsab Rinpoche Takpa Tendrup. He practiced Kadampa. He was a great Kadampa Geshe. So this commentary is practiced and studied by all different schools, but then it was kind of lost, and for a long time we didn't have this text. I think it was Akusherab. So he had the list. Yes, some Akusherab made a list of very rare texts, and we found it in them. So therefore we found it. So this text is according to the Kadampa Geshe Sharawa. So he said that according to Geshe Temba, from the Bodhisattva, from the beginning to end, in this text is a practice for today, for just now, at this moment, something that you can, it can really use on yourself. It can be integrated to yourself. So even like the Jagarketu, in the title, right from the title to the end, you have to. This also you have to practice. You have to put it on yourself. That is in the language of India. Why? There are three reasons why you have to give the Indian language first. Maybe it's important to talk this today because this is 900 years of Karmapa. It's very important to appreciate what has been appreciated. And then second is that to show the source, the good source. And the third reason is that you need to learn language. The importance of learning language. The first is to know to know how to appreciate and be grateful. And before the Buddhism came to Tibet, the Tibetan people were really rough. There were lots of wars. They were like very kind of. After Buddhism came to Tibet, then it became much calmer. The people became much peaceful. We don't know where we came from our last life. We don't know where we will be born in the future, in the next life. We don't know whether we will be happy or unhappy in the future. In the same way, in this samsara, we don't know what is that. And we don't know whether there is a chance to be free from this suffering. We don't know whether there is a kind of lasting peace and happiness to attain or not. We don't know. So we are so kind of ignorant. We don't know. We don't know what is our future or our kind of purpose. So through these teachings, we understand a little bit that we have to do something for the future and how to do it. And we understand a little bit that there is a possibility to become enlightened. And that this is coming from the teachings of the Dharma. So that this kind of Dharma is coming from India. The teachings of Dharma came from India. Therefore, the Buddha himself was also from India. The Nepalese said he is Nepalese, but he's from Bharat, he's India. So therefore, we have to appreciate that. We have to be grateful for that. in the Tibetan system, even the beggars coming from India in Tibet, we used to call them acharya. We used to say that acharya means like teacher. It's like professor, doctor. Yeah. It's very learned, you know. That Tibetans, even the beggars coming from India, they used to call them, we used to call them acharya. And even we used to make them sit in the head of the line. That was the system, that was the tradition. Because we appreciated the Dharma that came from India. The second day, the source of the Dharma is kind of true. The Gyurishen Sharava said, the real source of Dharma is not Tibet. The other countries are also not the source. The real source of Dharma is India. Therefore, so when you write the Indian language there, then everybody knows that this is really coming from India. So you know the true source or the good source, the right source, So therefore you can be sure of the source. In India at that time, there was very strong distinction of, true kind of literature and false literature. They used to examine, and then if a literature was not right, then they used to kind of denounce it. They used to put this book and tied this book and the kind of tail of the dog and then burn it. They just now, anybody who can move their hand, they can kind of write a book. Maybe it's too cheap. The ink and the paper very cheap. In the olden times, because even the great masters didn't write because they didn't have ink and the paper. Now everybody writes books. So in India, it was very strong distinction who is really learned and who is the fraud. So therefore, it's a good source. Then the importance is to learn the importance of learning language. The Bodhi in Indian language becomes Shangchup. Path in Sanskrit means the path in English. Pradipam means the lamp. And through that, you can learn the language. Then you also kind of make some kind of a connection with the Indian language. So you learn the language. So it is a little bit like it will help when we. So when somebody says Bodhi, we know what Bodhi is, because we have studied this kind of text. So we learn few words from Sanskrit. So this is the first stanza. I have two translations. I don't know which is better, but one is, I pay homage with great respect to all the victorious ones of the three times, to their teaching and to those who aspire to virtue. Urged by the good disciples Changchup were, I shall illuminate the lamp for the path to enlightenment. This is the first two lines is making prostrations, homage. This making homage to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. There are many reasons for doing. One is that to make a connection with the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, so that all the obstacles will be cleared, so that this book can complete in a positive way, and also that you make a connection to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. So therefore, our practice goes kind of unobstructedly or without obstructions. And then one is that we become more gentle and more positive. If we show respect to people who have more qualities than ourselves, who are elder than us, then it shows that we are kind of a good kind of people. And then the two next stanzas, urged by the good disciple Changchup were, I shall illuminate the lamp for the path as enlightenment. The Changchup word, why Atish Dipankara wrote this book was that time this Dengari's kind of leader. He was from the king's lineage of Tibet, and he was the king of Ngari. So he requested Atish Dipankara to come to Tibet and give teachings. So the example is that if you have a lamp on the way, then we can see the way at night. So we will not be lost, it will be convenient to travel. So in the same way, so this is the kind of, this is like the lamp to travel on the path to go to the enlightenment. The second stanza is, understand there are three kinds of persons. Because of their small, middling, and supreme capacities, I shall write clearly distinguishing their individual characteristics. So this is the kind of the main practice. What is going to doing? What is? Third, know that those who, by whatever means, seek for themselves no more than the pleasures of cyclic existence are persons of the least capacity. Those who seek peace for themselves alone, turning their back on worldly pleasures and avoiding destructive actions, are said to be of middling capacity. Those who, through their personal suffering, truly want to end completely all the sufferings of others, are persons of supreme capacity. Maybe tomorrow in the morning we do the refuge. Then we give a teaching on refuge. There are some people who want to take refuge. And those who want to take refuge, this morning please come prepared so that we will do that refuge ceremony. And at the same time, there are people who want to take the Upasaka vows, 5 precepts. We can do it together tomorrow morning. They don't have time and I don't have time also, so maybe it's better to do it tomorrow morning. And day after tomorrow, the last day of the teaching, and in the morning, nobody told me, but if maybe you don't need it, we could do Bodhisattva vows. This is doubt. Maybe we should ask him. Maybe it's not necessary. Let us make a clapping. So, even if we are a Mahayana person, we have to go through the whole kind of gradually all the practice. Even if we are like a Shravakayana kind of person, we have to understand the preliminaries and then enter into it. It's very important. And so especially if we are Vajrayana practitioners, we have to, the main practice, the basic understanding of Buddhism we have to understand. And if we understand that, then the practice becomes really easy. And also for the Dharma, then we can contribute to the Dharma also. And also it will help for the Buddha's teachings to live long. So therefore, so all of us, even if, we cannot study all the teachings of the Buddha. The main thing is that something that has to be useful to our mind, something that is that's useful to us, that we must practice. After that, then we have to kind of slowly go higher and higher. That's very important. Thank you very much.